Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Banner and Backbone with Centered America, who's not here with us today. They have some really busy stuff going on with some really cool things that they're working on and partnerships that they're trying to work through. So they are busy as hell today. So, good morning. I'm Nick Perro of Banner and Backbone and Sick of the Shit Publications, joined by my really good friend and colleague, Melissa Corrigan of Counterstory Media, Blue Amp Media, Banner and Backbone, Does She Shut Up, Pink Hair and Pronouns, all of the things.
All of
And I'm so excited to get to talk to you again, Melissa. We had a busy ass day on Monday, a busy
oh
ass
yeah,
day on Sunday,
yes,
a busy ass day on Saturday.
yeah,
And you have an incredibly busy day today that I really want to talk about because I want to boost you through this discussion because it's about authenticity, accountability, affordability, and authenticity. And we're probably going to cover two of the three A's of the AAA action plan to rescue and reclaim America.
yes.
So I'm working on wordsmithing a little bit too. Ooh, I should invite David Schuster to one of these shows, or Cliff
You
Schechter.
should.
Cliff
Yes,
Cliff would probably really enjoy this show to talk about um, wordsmithing and stuff, and some sloganeering. So I'll reach out to Cliff um, today and see if he'd be interested in coming on
good.
next week for a special
Yeah,
right before, if we do one, for a special right before Christmas, because that's the day before Christmas, and I don't know,
right.
everybody's going to be busy, or a lot of folks are busy. It's also right after the end of Hanukkah, and I'm not sure when Kwanzaa is, so I cannot speak on it. But yeah, good morning, Melissa. How are you? To
Good
get us into this
morning.
busy ass week and day. So
Yes,
as you reintroduce and say hi to everybody, because everybody knows who you are. That said, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about some of the important news that you broke this weekend, the exclusive reporting that you put out on Blue Ant Media, um, and that I was able to help promote and boost and get out and spread as much as possible, and will continue doing
yeah.
so. So, yeah, good morning. Let's talk about all of this stuff because you have a cool interview coming up
Good
today.
morning. I do. So yeah, this weekend I was able to bring forward the document that is indicating that our military leaders have issued the order to delete video footage of detainees that we picked up from one of the boat strikes in the Caribbean. I would say October 17th, but it looks like with CNN reporting this morning, there is confirmation that that strike happened on the 16th. So there's a lot. That makes everything a lot more interesting because the 16th was also the day that Admiral Halsey uh, went public with his resignation. So the timing has certainly got more interesting. I've reached out to that CNN reporter to see if I can have a conversation with her about, aligning some of these dates. This seems to be a curious discrepancy that is all coming out, moment by moment. So, yeah, so I spent all day Monday on lives, half of them with you and amazing people
Yeah.
like Commander Bobby Jones, who I love. Yeah. So it has been crazy, crazy. And today at 1, I am going on with Hal Sparks on his YouTube show, Infotainment Wars. So that's going to be super exciting. I I knew who Hal Sparks was from. I think it's really funny because there's a Gen X remembrance of who Hal Sparks is, there's a millennial, and then there's a Gen Z, because when I said Hal Sparks, I thought, Talk Soup and Queer as Folk, right? That's what came to mind, and my kids remember him from some Disney show that I didn't even recollect, but, apparently he was Mr. Davenport on Lab Rats, and so my kids, who are very supportive of my work, but not they don't generally tune in to watch me on lives. All of them are gonna be tuning in today at 1 o'clock. So that I'm more nervous about that than anything.
Oh, yeah, I mean, when your kids decide they wanna tune in, then you start getting nervous. Like, I'm trying to figure out where I actually know him from, other than the shows that like, the show you mentioned, like, I guess I didn't really follow Hal Sparks too much.
Yeah.
I must have missed him as being, like, the mid 90 or the mid millennial generation. So, oh, but he was in Spider-Man
Mhm.
2 and some other movies. He
Yeah.
was in the Dead Space animated movie. Oh, that's cool. I think that's where I know him from. Um,
Yeah. But like
anyway,
I told my kids,
that's gonna
I
be
don't
super neat.
really
That's gonna be super
get
awesome. So what
nervous when I'm
No, go ahead.
I'm
You're
on a
saying you were
stupid internet.
nervous. You're on just a
Well,
slight
I don't
delay.
really get nervous.
Um,
Yeah, I don't really get nervous when I'm on lives with people like this because I'm in a comfortable environment. If I had to go somewhere and be like in a studio and there were people, I would probably be super, super nervous. I don't really get nervous because my comfy environment, you know?
yeah.
So I just kind of think of it like I try not to think of the people watching also. And I think of it as like I'm just FaceTiming with my friend and talking about stuff. My
Yeah.
new friend is Hal
Yeah,
Sparks, and we're just gonna chat.
that's I'm jealous that you get to meet someone so cool. Like that's like super amazing. As just a part of this is you get to meet cool people along the way. Um,
Yes.
and you get to talk about a really important, like really serious and important issue that's going on that they're trying to the regime is trying to downplay it in as many ways as possible, but also that they're trying to forge past fast enough that accountability cannot keep up with them,
Right.
which is
Mhm.
why they're escalating, in my opinion, why they're escalating so much and quickly. And there was reporting of what I think FA-18s doing a pretty close flyover practice in the Gulf of Venezuela.
Yep.
Um, like there was now talk about increasing the strikes and attacks to include Colombia and Mexican boats and ships, which would be an international disaster. It would
Yeah.
be a regional disaster on its own, and it would be an international one. Like the quickest way to, I was just listening to Arturo Dominguez talk with Dana
Yeah.
Dubois and Lawrence Winterman on the Daily Whatever this morning. Which, if anybody missed that, you you should go see that show this morning. Like, I'll even link to it if they have it out in this one, because it was a really important about dispelling myths around Cuba and Latin America. Um, and one of the things that I think would happen is this would be the quickest way to unite the entire Latin American, from central through the all the way to the bottom of South America, to unite them into um, one force that would be impossible for us to push back against as the U.S. Um, and we'd
Well,
lose. We would lose.
even just within Venezuela, I read some reporting yesterday that they're assembling troops in Venezuela, and these are troops that are well versed in guerrilla warfare. And I don't think I'd be I'm not the first to say this feels like V 2.0 when you have combatants
Yeah.
who are obviously very well comfortable with
Oh, we
their
lost you. I
landscape.
think we lost you a little bit. But we lost you at
Yeah.
combatants escape. I think you were going to say into the jungle.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that
Um,
these are
yeah.
combatants that are familiar with the terrain. They are uh,
Oh, we're killing. Is
Trained
Melissa?
apparently
Oh,
from the
there you
source
are.
I was.
You're back.
Hold on.
It's all right. We'll work with it no
I
matter
may have to
what.
drop and come back. Give me just a second.
Okay, yeah, we'll work with it no matter what to make sure. Um, and I'll pick up where you were on that a little bit too. Is like these combatants can disappear into the mountains and into the jungles without us ever knowing. They know the terrain. If we don't think that they have tunnel systems in the mountains, yeah, we can drop a bomb on a mountain, but we'd have to kill a lot of people, and a lot of innocent civilians, to do activity like that. Like that's not a good way to wage a war. In fact, it's the quickest way for us to like lose all credibility in a war, is to just indiscriminately bomb a mountainside, say right all in Caracas, and destroy the entire capital of Venezuela. That would be a huge mistake. But we can't. There's no real good foothold. There's no real good way to get into Venezuela. Um, and it would be a fiasco in every single like way possible. I've talked about this with Shane Urich. I We ran over an analysis and had some maps up. I'll link to his episode around it where we dove into my thoughts on what an invasion of Venezuela would look like, and at least if they were trying to get into Caracas quickly. And it's not a easy task. In fact, it's a. Oh, I'll wait till Melissa. We've got a.
Let's see.
Welcome back, Melissa. We were talking about.
All right.
We were talking about Venezuela, or I was just talking on the invasion point of going back, and Shane and I have talked about it a little bit. Shane Urich and I have talked about it. Is how, just like you said, it would be like Vietnam 2.0. It would be
Yes.
worse than Vietnam. And I've at this point hearkened it to, it would be our Ukraine. It would be our Ukraine if we were to enter Venezuela and trying to invade it. We would take over a piece of territory, probably fairly quickly, and create a foothold. And then we would sit there for years getting
Yeah.
attacked by drones, getting attacked by combatants out of the forest. Because the one thing even Pete Hegseth cannot just indiscriminately do is kill a bunch of civilians in a
Right.
city where they have no business killing them. And if we start doing that, the American people will push back on shit like that, because it's a hearts and minds thing, both here at home and in the country that you're trying to invade. And that's the greatest way to destroy all the hearts and minds. And you create two new combatants for every one civilian you kill,
Yep.
on average.
Yeah.
Average. And like Malcolm Nance says, Susan, thanks for the comments. Malcolm Nance talks about this a lot. Is, yeah, we have spies and we have CIA assets and we have covert assets in Venezuela already. There was reporting almost a month ago of a possible failed CIA attempt to blow up or attack the USS Gravely while it was docked in Trinidad and Tobago. Like, we know these things are possibly happening or have already happened. So this is why we talk about it a lot, because if we don't talk about it, who's going to craft what the actual narrative of what is going on?
Exactly.
And so, Melissa, you, like we were saying earlier, you revealed that this huge story about footage being deleted from two individuals who were detained on the USS Iwo Jima and subsequently released. I wrote about the legalities behind that, as a prior interrogator and someone who just wants to clarify it for everyone. Can you go into like what accountability needs to be, in your opinion, to help prevent this from going forward? with either an invasion or any other strikes. Because we've had our 22nd, I think it
I
was this
can't,
week.
I
But
can't help but
what do you
think that
envision accountability being?
yeah, great leaders say the buck stops here. Great leaders take that accountability when things go wrong, or even when things don't necessarily go wrong, but there's a public misconception that misaligns with the truth of the mission. And what I think a lot of independent media is doing, and what mainstream media is not doing at all, is pressing Pete Hegseth. Like, is there some sort of fundamental mismatch of information that we, the civilians, aren't receiving? And then it's okay for you to tell us that, but you also must go present that to the representatives that we elected. So if you don't want to show us the evidence that you have, you need to show the people we elected behind closed doors who have the appropriate clearance level, or at least accessibility level for that information. So Pete's lack of accountability is absolutely staggering here. It's one of the reasons I think he was never put in charge of a major show at Fox, a full platoon when he was active duty. You know, his leadership was severely limited in every role he's had before this one, which is
Well,
just
let's be clear. He
unspeakable.
was given command of a platoon, but not a company. A
Not a
platoon
company, right?
is like 20 people. That's what a captain gets a command of. And so
Right.
in the US Army, and there's difference in ranks, and this is I'll put out an article here soon too. Hopefully before the end of the week if I can, if I get the time for it, is just what the rank structures are for each branch and just the name differences. So everybody has a quick graphic, or I'll even put just some quick graphics so everybody can see it so that they know what we're talking about. A captain
Right.
or an O3 in the US Army has the role of typically a company command.
Yeah.
Like they command 2 to 3 platoons or more of about 20 people each. A captain. A major normally gets something more than that, if not a company command. Like if you're on a
Right.
brigade or battalion level, you may be a major with a company command, or you are the command of a entire section within the brigade. And yeah, a major is an O4, which is the rank above captain. So you get more
Right.
responsibility, and you're supposed to increase how many people you command over. You may get an entire area of the brigade where they're like, hey, this entire section, the S3, let's say, or the S1, where you do all your paperwork and everybody comes in and does processing and asks questions and you get your time off. A major is normally in charge of those people. They didn't trust Pete Hegseth to do that. They didn't even trust Pete Hegseth to do the paperwork. They couldn't
Right.
let him do the administrative side because he sucked at it. He was bad at his job. Like
And
the
I'm willing to
Army
bet that if you went back and looked at his reviews, it would say that accountability was probably a shortcoming
was
then.
missing. Yeah.
Right.
Like
Because this
accountability is
guy
not
he does not
something
have
he's
the
ever had.
maturity, the emotional maturity to own up when he makes a mistake and to take accountability for the choices that he's made. He's now pointing fingers at admirals, and there's an admiral that resigned suddenly, and there's lots of still mystery around, the conditions of that resignation. So yeah, you have a guy who's completely avoiding accountability. He wants to stand up on stage and lecture admirals and generals and flag officers and
Yeah.
assume and project this really cheesy, hokey sort of really reality TV version of what a military leader is, but there's nothing behind that. He's still just a TV personality. He's a front, and there's nothing behind it. There's no substance, there's no moral substance, there's no moral fiber. And the fact that this guy is leading our military with no accountability. I've seen a couple videos. Kat said in the comments he's an impulsive alcoholic. And I've seen a couple of videos recently of him giving whether a presentation or speaking to a group of people, and he's drinking something out of a glass that doesn't exactly look like water. while he's giving these. And also, he looks like shit. He's unshaven. He's getting a little belly on him. So the guy that just 2 months ago was lecturing some of the highest and most long running officers in our military on their appearance, and that he all it took 2 months. It literally took a couple of months for all of that to crumble. He looks a mess. He's walking around looking sloppy. And even if appearances are the only thing that matter to you, Pete, what's going on? What's going
Yeah,
on?
and let's also be clear. It is illegal to drink while you are on duty under
Yes.
UCMJ. That is a UCMJ violation, and as SecDef, he he should be falling under UCMJ. Like, if he wants to claim to lead the military, he needs to follow their regulations, and drinking on duty is pretty well frowned upon. Like our
Right.
army, that's how you get an Article 15 like that. Like
Yep.
you wanna go from E5 to E4 in a day, go drink while you're on duty. You want to lose
Right.
rank, go drink while you're on duty. Like that is how you do it. And Pete Hegseth is a model for that. He's a model for shitty fucking bad behavior. And it's showing. Yeah. And I think the open alcoholism at this point isn't even a front of any sort. It's just he's so fucking tired of being berated right now, because I think they've talked about, if they haven't already, they've talked about restricting his movement
Travel.
allowance,
Hmm.
travel allowance as SecDef. That's unheard of. Like, we normally do not restrict the movement of the Secretary of Defense. Yet here
Right.
we are going, hey, bro, you're not going to go anywhere because you're either a flight risk, or we know you're going to go and try and do something even more illegal than what you've already done. And so
And even
that's
if you take
crazy.
away all the scandals, if you take away the boat strikes and the disappeared video, even without that, having someone under the influence of alcohol actively making decisions for a military of our size is so unbelievably inappropriate. And he's got to go. The accountability has to stop with him, and he's got to be impeached. And the quicker he's impeached, I think the quicker we'll see maybe some chilling on this activity in and around Venezuela. It's got to happen sooner
Yeah.
rather than later.
Yeah. So what are you going to advocate? How are you planning to advocate through you, who is a very authentic person who is putting out information to hold Pete Hegseth accountable for his actions? What are you going to do while you're on House Sparks to advocate for these things? And with House Sparks and any of the other shows or networks or places that you're going to be getting interviews from, and hopefully even more because of these things. Ooh, we got shared this morning. Welcome, my friend. A little
Good
late,
Hello.
but that's
morning.
okay. I don't think I'll make sure that CA is tagged in the post show, so that you guys can also rebroadcast and show. We've been talking affordability, accountability, and the fact that Melissa's going on Hal Sparks this afternoon to talk about the Pete Hegseth fiasco around the two missing detainees and the records, or the deleted records around the two detained individuals from October. So, Sherrod, you sort of peeked up there when I said Hal Sparks. What do you think about that?
That's incredible. I'm so excited that we're getting this community up to the top. I mean, we're really bringing these stories to the public. We're really bringing them out there. And Melissa, I'm so proud of where you've come, and working with Blue Amp, and that story is just.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad that we're getting it out there for everybody.
I
Oh
think it's
shit!
so
Your
freaking
guys' name.
cool. I
Sorry
think
to
it's so
interrupt.
cool how Substack has created this incubator almost. And there's just like at least in our circles, there's just like a couple dozen people, and we are constantly lifting each other up and lifting each other up and lifting.
Did you see
Just
Michael Wolf blocked Ellie Leonard?
I did.
yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
wonder if we can get like a top block list of who we all want to get blocked by. And
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
because I think that'd be fun. Like, we can have fun with this. There's shitty people out there that we should be trying to get blocked by or have like brought down. And also, cool story, bro, is your Centered America name did appear on the live because you accepted the live invite, I guess, even after the show started. So it's cool to see that if you were invited to the show beforehand and you accept it while the show is going on, your name will appear on the stream, which is super good to know as a host.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So it's good to see you, Sharon. It's been a while, my friend.
I know. It's great to see you guys.
How's
Been doing a lot
school
of
going?
great work. School
Yeah.
is great. I'm done.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm officially done. So I'm in New Mexico. Clearly a different background here. I thought I would have an appointment with Indivisible really early in the morning, but it ended up being rescheduled to 12. So sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. That's so cool.
I am too.
So let's talk about this in context of what our big show is all about is the AAA plan to rescue and reclaim America. And so I'm trying to do some wordsmithing. I talked with Cliff Schechter last week, and we started doing some wordsmithing. And one of the ones I came up with was the AAA plan of accountability, affordability, and authenticity, or even the AA of rescuing America, the 12-step plan of accountability and authenticity. And we at least have two of those big things, accountability and authenticity, that Melissa is bringing with the reporting that she's been doing through Blue Amp and all of the stuff around Pete Hegseth. And you guys are working trying to work with and are working alongside the Indivisible movement, which is one of the most authentic and accountable movements we have so far in the pro-democracy space. And they're holding themselves to account for things, and they're teaching, and they're growing. Can you explain a little bit about what Centered America or you and Gavin are doing specifically to support them and build that community? And how can we then help here on Banner and Backbone, or with, say, Melissa as Counterstory Media, or even Blue Amp Media? How can we boost the work that you guys are doing, so that we can make sure more people see it, more people get the information, and it's available?
Yeah, so we're going to get a lot of information about projects that they're actually starting. I think a lot of the stuff is community building, like blanket drives and certain on the ground local stuff that we can all do to support our community, but also much larger. And so I think the best thing that we can do is amplify those resources. I mean, clearly, what we're doing right now with the stories that you guys are putting out, with what Melissa's putting out, those are being amplified. If we can take the resources that Indivisible is giving us, that the individuals, the great individuals on the steering committees are giving to us, and then amplifying it here on Substack, making articles, doing separate articles for each individual thing. I think it's going to be just a great tool for everyone to have, because we want everyone to have these resources. We don't want to put a gatekeep on the resources. And so what Centered America is doing is we're going to go in. They said that we can be on the steering committee, kind of take charge and know all these projects that they're working on. We're still very early stages. But we are really excited to get that knowledge, get those resources, and give it out to the people.
That's super cool. That's really neat. So what are, from what you've gotten so far, or from any of the stuff that you have, what is one key takeaway that we could all bring from the initial learnings, or anything that you've done so far? What's one key takeaway from all of it that we can bring that's actionable, so that we can all start doing a little bit more?
Yeah, let me get into this 1 million rising pillars of support exercise. So they sent us this long kind of list of things that they're working on, and it's called the 1 million rising pillars of support. And it has a bunch of little headings. It has military, police, labor unions, faith community, nonprofit media, community groups, education. And so I'll read it off to you. Maybe I can send this to you, Nick.
Yeah.
But military police, leave know your rights cards in public restrooms around town. Support police as protectors. Support reforming the police, not defunding the police. Veteran-led non-cooperation. City and county expand transparency, like DEI policies. For unions, encourage unions to do a national day of boycott. So like we have this whole list of different things that we can actually kind of give out to the people and make sure that they're taking those proper action steps. It's a really comprehensive list of a ton of ideas. And I think it's going to be really useful for us here on Substack to boost. And so they gave that to us to give to everybody else and get this.
Awesome. That's awesome. So I'd love to, I know you and Gavin have talked about doing some more lives too on either Centered America's side or even how you can work and support more with Banner and Backbone and just get the news out there. Is I'd love to be able to talk about some of those articles and some of those breakdowns that you do on these key points and how we can get that information out. What's the easiest way that we could say make mailers or get a group of a way that we can get these cards or these pieces of information out to communities without everyone else having to try and do it themselves. Like
exactly,
we have the reach to help boost this now, and I'm proud to say that we have that reach to get what everyone on Centered America, everyone through Banner and Backbone, Sick of This Shit publications, everyone through Counter Story Media. You have the access to this, or even and Blue Amp Media, if they when Melissa talks about things like this on Blue Amp, like this isn't something she can't talk about. These are free resources for everyone to hear. And once this gets out, if we have the resources through subscriptions and through people who come and join us and the other methods and the donations to Centered America and how we all collectively come together, that's putting your words and our words into action. We buy the cards and send them out to somebody has a pickup box or whatever in a community that they can all get them from. And then it's on us to send out new ones for everybody. Hey, you're running low. Okay, Banner and Backbone sending a new set of Know Your Rights cards out to the community now, and everyone can have access to them. I think free material and printed material, Melissa, I know you're big into printed material. Can you talk about some of like the success rate of that and like how that feels to you when you actually go and do the printed and put it out there, and what it like, does it give you a sense of like patriotic duty? Do you feel like you're doing the right thing? How does it make you feel when you're doing this? Because part of this too is we're reclaiming patriotism and what is patriotic and how do you act patriotically and how do you see yourself as a patriotic citizen? Because we've lost any care in a lot of ways of what America means or what America could be. And if we can win that back, the question in the chat is, how do you win MAGA? Or instead of talking to your own, I'm not talking to any party. I'm talking to everyone. It's country over party.
Right.
Like, I don't care what party you're from. I want the disaffected voters to start voting. And so, Melissa, can you talk on the importance of these mailers and these sort of physical things?
I mean, even when as a nonprofit staff, direct mail is constantly returning as a continually successful mode of fundraising and communicating with your donor base. I mean, getting something in the mail, opening it up, especially nowadays, the people's inboxes and their emails are just overflowing. So you get missed a lot. And so reaching out with actual paper, and something else I always did with my major donors throughout the years was to send a handwritten thank you card And some of these donors had never received anything like that. They were just sort of flabbergasted. And to me, that's just a bare minimum that you should be doing to thank someone who gives a substantial amount of money, or really any amount of money, to a charity. That's something they don't need to give to. But in terms of politics, I am of the belief that we have got to, and I say we, I don't know who needs to fund this project or pick up this mantle, but I think it would be tremendously successful to send out paper mailers to heavy red districts, like blood red districts, and get facts in their hand, simple postcards, maybe pictures of their local ICE detention center that's right around the corner from their house, drawing attention to that. Drawing attention to what's going on in their local community. It has to be local. It has to be applicable to them, not some national level marketing. So this would have to be done by region, not even state, but by region, within states, to reach people who are never, ever, ever, because of the algorithm, they're never going to see left leaning content. They're never going to see anything but extreme right, what we now can, I think, safely call propaganda. They're seeing propaganda, they're not seeing the facts, and then they're voting booths and they're not armed with actual information. They're armed with propaganda and they don't even know the facts of the issues they're voting on. So sending paper mailers out, and then having I'm a big fan of history, total history nerd, love Thomas Paine. And so I started writing my own one-page pamphlet. And when I go out to rallies or marches or whatever and put that in people's hand, that personal connection, they are far more likely to actually stop and look at, you said you wrote what? Like, what is this? And they actually will stand there and read it. I've watched people just stop what they're doing and stand there, because this individual that wrote something has personally handed this to me. So I'm going to honor this moment for a second by actually stopping and reading it. And it's hard to get that direct connection with anybody anymore. Everyone's fighting for a minute of cyberspace, to get a minute of their views, to get them to open an email is increasingly difficult. But if you put yourself out there with paper and you get out in person, those are the two things that I kind of always harp on, is the paper aspect, getting paper things out, and then going in person and having those conversations face to face. We're all discovering, the more I see content creators on TikTok and stuff talk about, their MAGA family is flipping. It's starting to, the scales are starting to fall away from their eyes. And it's all because they have continually had conversations with them over the past several years, and it works.
I think it's incredibly difficult to shut out facts when you're looking at it in the eyes. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people have the ability to just turn their TV off when there's facts in their face. But when you are face to face and you are giving them the information and it's person to person, that's a different story. And
Right.
a lot of the reason we started Senate America was, I think we need to, this administration is trying to shut out all of the face-to-face interaction and facts going from one person to the other, and they're flooding the zone. That the more we can go to those communities, have small groups go and door knock, give that information, do mailers, it's going to be way more effective in making sure people have the truth. And without the truth, there's no direction. And so that's what
Right.
we care about here. And I think all of us, that's what we want, is to really meet face to face.
Oh, I have an exciting update. I completely forgot. So here in Norfolk, I've been following the Flock case, and it steadily started getting attention. I talk to people in person all the time. I've discovered that the local paper will not print my op-eds on the topic. They just won't. I've sent multiple, they won't do it. I've had comments deleted from local news, like social media posts, like they don't want to talk about it. But what's happening is I'm starting to have face-to-face conversations, and even going to city council meetings to talk about it. And a couple of days ago, the judge has released the map. He ordered the release of the map of all the flock cameras in Norfolk, which was a huge point of contention. And to me, this is a huge win for the case. So that's a good update on that.
It's
But I think that that came from a lot of me's, because I'm not the only independent journalist now in Norfolk that is talking about flock. There's a lot of us that are popping up and starting to write stuff and talk about it. So I think we threw just enough sand in the gears to make this positive thing happen. So that's a good
so
development.
is that camera mapping publicly available now? Like, can we
Yes.
put it up on Banner and Backbone and have a full-on discussion just showing the map of where all of the flock cameras are in Norfolk, Virginia?
Yes.
Would you be interested
Because
in
it's
having
definitely been on my radar. I haven't had a chance to get to it, but what I want to do is overlay that map and demonstrate that they are clustering these around low income and predominantly Black neighborhoods and Hispanic neighborhoods.
So
And
now that
yeah,
now that we've brought on our good friend Shane Yerrick of the Firebrand Project into this discussion,
Hello, everybody.
and
Good morning.
Banner and Backbone's Palin Talk, Shane, how do you feel about getting Melissa back now again for what, like third or fourth or fifth time we've talked about this, and doing a
Well,
series on just going over the cameras and talking about how where they are, what they're, just like you said, the density maps against minority communities, how close are they to military, to the installation itself, and like, are they monitoring ingress and egress routes from the base? I think we would have a really good discussion on that, because it's so important and not enough people are talking about it yet. But the fact that we are seems to be making a difference. It seems to
does.
actually
It does.
be doing something. Like,
right.
it feels like, and it actually is, us doing stuff. Like, Melissa has broken two really good stories around the flock security stuff. I mean, Melissa's broken tons and tons of fucking good stories. Like, if you aren't following Melissa Corrigan, are you living under a rock? Like, where have you been?
Okay,
Like, what have you
Patrick.
been doing?
Okay. Good morning,
Uh,
Patrick.
but
Good morning,
like,
Patrick.
but like, Melissa, two amazing stories around that Melissa has brought to us
Yes.
are, and with us, and helped us amplify, are flock security in Norfolk, Virginia, which affects everybody through the surveillance state and the restriction of privacy and the removal of privacy and the removal of private movement, and access to private rights, basically, because you're being tracked 24/7. And the fact that two fucking detained individuals had footage deleted of them and evidence deleted of them on a boat in Venezuela or outside Venezuela on the USS Iwo Jima. Like, what in the fuck is going on? And because of y'all,
I mean,
it feels like we're actually doing something. Like, there is there are Senate hearings going on right now because of the information Melissa Corrigan helped bring forward. Maps are now being revealed of flock cameras because of work that Melissa and folks in Norfolk, Virginia are doing. Like that, and because everybody
that's
here keeps
exciting.
coming back, it's like, Shane, you talk about this communal action. And like, what do you think about this? Like, how do you feel that our actions are actually leading to not just words, but their actions leading to real events happening right now?
Well, I mean, hearing one, in regards to Melissa coming back to Pound Talk, you know how I feel about hanging out with Melissa, so you're
Oh,
not going to get any objection from me. But in regards to that, my first thought hearing that, Melissa, is one, I'm so proud of you. Fantastic job. Like, I just truly, like, you're doing important work, and credit where credit is due. Always. You really are making a difference. And just to everyone out there, so Melissa is a mom, she's a wife, and she does all of these things. She does it between the practices and supporting her kids. She's doing all of this while trying to make sure the kids aren't dancing on the dinner table. Okay.
Dancing on the tables.
This is not like, she's committing she is putting in the work. So like, I just want all of you guys in the chat to really understand the level of effort and work that Melissa is putting in for our democracy, on top of being just a fantastic example of what anyone is capable of if they're really passionate about their country and what they're doing. You know, I had a thought hearing that too. Now that we've established how awesome Melissa is, and everyone in the chat knows just how lucky we are to have her among us. So, you know, the fact that you have this judge ordering this case gives me a thought. You know, the second that brief is out, whatever that case, that ruling, what you have is a template, a precedent for anyone in any city, in any town, to deliver to a judge at their city hall to say, I want this now.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
I think that would be, I would be interested in seeing how I could do that here, because I know there's flock cameras around me, you know, like,
So Sharon, is this something that Centered America, as a 501c4 organization, is able to participate in or not participate in? Because I want to make sure too that we respect your specific like organizational ownership, and we don't put you in a compromised situation talking about these sort of actions as from a Centered America side. And is this something that you could help leverage action with Indivisible around? Because now that you're working alongside and with Indivisible, this feels like something they could pick up on, and they're national. And it's easy for them to then pick up with lawyers who are already part of the organization or funds that they already have. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. First, for what you said first, yeah, 100%. We can talk about this. We can work on getting this out there. We can work on bringing it to lawmakers. We can work on lobbying legislation against it. But yeah, this is a really fantastic thing to work on at Centered America and bring it to Indivisible. I think we could all honestly do like a joint post where we detail these maps, tell them how to bring it to the courts, how to bring it to lawmakers, how to, you know, talk to their city council members, and bring it locally to actually take accountability, like this conversation is talking about. We want accountability, and if we can, you know, teach you know, everyday Americans how to bring accountability, it's going to be really effective. And I think we can work with Indivisible on that, and we'll bring it to their attention.
I love this. I love being able to make these connections, and my sound may have changed because I finally switched over to my actual microphone. But I think that's what we need to be doing. Like that's how we do this. That's how we actually get action. Is people keep being like, oh, like what is it going to do? Oh, we shouldn't even worry about trying to impeach Donald Trump because we don't own the Senate, or we shouldn't worry about impeaching Pete Hegseth because he's just going to get pardoned for any criminal activity that he gets accused of and convicted of. Well, guess what? Can't impeach
Make
state
them
level
pardon the
stuff.
war criminal. Make them
You
do
cannot.
it, you know?
Also,
Yeah.
you cannot impeach. You cannot pardon an impeachment. It is not a criminal offense, and it is not it is not a pardonable offense, because it's just you losing your job and being told you fucking suck so much that we want to get rid of you this quickly and never let you do it again. And that's what it means. You can't be pardoned for just being shitty at your fucking job. And that's what an impeachment means, is you're really shitty at your job and we hate you. And we should be using that. And I think these tools are how we give people the power to be like, you know what? Maybe impeachment might work, but it's important that we use the mechanisms that are available and make the point, because I'm not going to give up the tools to stop somebody just because they say, oh, it's not going to work against me. Well, fuck you. Let us at least try. And then we get these cameras out there with the flock safety stuff. Nobody would have picked this up and nobody would have this template if Melissa and her neighbors in Norfolk, Virginia, people she probably didn't even know beforehand, and
Nope.
may still not even know. Because of civic action by civilians, by citizens, by everyday normal people, they can change the rest of the American society's course in a positive way. Like if this wins, if Melissa and Norfolk, or if Norfolk can win and get this information out there, like Shane said, as a template for everybody else to use, imagine how quickly we could destroy the surveillance state without having to wait for Democrats to not do it.
And here's how we do it. Senate America, because we're a 501c4 organization, we can file FOIA requests to uncover how many cameras are deployed, who approved the purchase, what data retention policies look like, whether the contract bypassed public hearings. We can see if they share data with federal partners or private partners. We can pressure local governments and to adopt like regulation and oversight. We can lobby city councils and state legislatures. And so I think teaching individuals how to file those FOIA requests and uncover that information is going to be really useful. And if we all file those FOIA requests to get that information uncovered, it's going to be really effective.
And the government can't ignore 5,000 or a million FOIA requests for the
Especially when
same
it's local.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
Local governments aren't going
Yeah,
to ignore your
yeah.
FOIA requests. And if they
That's
do,
what I've said
you get to
is that-
sue your local government.
Right. And my issue with the flock cameras, that obviously there's an issue with the technology that I personally have. But in terms of a local governance issue, the fact that these were put up, Norfolk is especially egregious because they went ahead and slapped these cameras up and started using them without even having a data plan or policy in place at all. There was nothing regulating them. We know that at least 6 police officers accessed those cameras in the 4-month period that they were operating with no policy, just no guardrails whatsoever. We don't know what those 6 officers, were able to see or accessed on those cameras. So my biggest issue is that the citizens were not informed fully of what these things, they weren't informed at all in Norfolk. In other cities, they were informed that new security cameras be going up, but they didn't fully inform citizens of the full capabilities. And this isn't the potential capabilities down the road. This is what these things can do right now. Just because you're saying, oh, but we're not gonna, again, it goes back to this trust me bro shit. Oh, we're not gonna do that. Trust me, bro. We wouldn't do that. That's bullshit. Yes, you would. None of us believe that. So my thing is, if there is a vote on it and the majority of Norfolkians are informed on what the cameras do and then decide, oh, okay, we still want the cameras, at least that's a democratic process with duly informed citizens. And then I can just move. Okay. So then that's a decision for me that, okay, so the general ethos of my fellow citizens in Norfolk as it comes to mass surveillance doesn't align with mine. So that's my cue that I need to. That's okay. I've already left a red state because of their politics. I don't mind moving if I don't agree with the majority. My issue in this situation that I keep going back to is you didn't inform people. You have pretty much outright misled people on what these cameras do and are capable of doing, and you didn't put it to a vote. You just slapped these things up overnight, literally, like on a Tuesday. There's these massive cameras outside my neighborhood. That's not okay.
And there's no large public database of the flock safety deployments where these cameras are. I think that we should start there. Let's create.
Actually, there is.
Well, there's independent. I feel like there's independent people like us that have done the work.
deflock movement.
I just found one also too called Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is at atlasofsurveillance.org. Because I just looked up my town, which has 19 flock safety cameras for a town of like 30,000 people. And I'm going to check other towns around me and see how many are in my county. because Benton County, Arkansas accounts for 4% of all national ICE arrests. 4
Yeah.
fucking percent. A county of 300,000 people. We've had over 450 arrests related to ICE. We individually, our county in Arkansas is 4% of all of the nation's arrests between January and September. Like,
So
that's ridiculous. And I have a feeling flock safety cameras were used at some point to track the movement of some of these individuals. A lot of them are getting arrested because the Arkansas has a law that if you are under arrest already, they will then check your immigration status and things, because we're regressive as fuck here. So I think Jesus, okay.
I
have a lot to read. I have a lot
really
to look
quick
into
there.
around my community more, and hopefully using a template from what Melissa has is we can start getting requests in and FOIA requests in on when were these approved, who approved them, what was the process like, what data retention policies and collection policies are put in place, because I think that's where we're going to win in all of this. That's the easiest route to end all of this, is if data protection policies are not in place. There are regulatory policies and laws on the books that are very, 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 very often ruled on in favor of plaintiffs when data leaks and improper use of data happens. Those groups are held accountable almost 100% of the time.
I mean, like you said, there's 16 cameras in a town where there's 30,000 people.
19.
Like
19
cameras. It's like there are so many local and state and federal laws that there's no way they're actually accountable to all the laws. Like, let's bring these cases to the public. They're not going to get ruled in favor of. Like, there's going to be multiple instances where they are breaking the law. There's no way that if you're installing cameras that are directly an invasion of privacy, that they are following all the laws needed. No way. I say that's bullshit.
And their excuse with like installing them in Norfolk is the crime, and we do have crime just like any urban area, but now they're pressing outward into these rural areas. And first of all, you have sort of old school conservatives that live out there that they don't want to be monitored by anybody. They don't want Big Brother watching them. And second, they moved to a rural area because of the lower crime. So I saw a video where a woman saw them putting up a flock camera in her tiny, tiny town. And she pulled her car over and said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, this is the camera." And she said, "What's it for?" And they started on about how it was to reduce crime. And she's like, "What are you talking about? We don't have any crime. We don't have any crime. What are you doing?" I mean, so, this excuse that they use, oh, we just need it for law enforcement purposes. And also here in Norfolk, I'm still getting daily alerts about shootings and crime is still happening. So you mean we've got cameras on damn near every corner, and somehow we still have shootings every day? That's wild. Crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like the cameras aren't doing anything.
Right.
It's not. Yeah, it's not cameras. It's it's better quality of living. You want crime to stop, reduce poverty, increase wages, increase reduce fucking taxes on the bottom 99% and raise them on the 1%. You want reduced crime? Abolish JP Morgan Chase. The world will be a better place. You want reduced crime? Get rid of the crime syndicate in the White House that is forcing America into poverty. And poverty and crime directly correlate because desperation breeds crime. But just, also I'm as I'm sitting here and like, I'm thinking the other thing is, it's one thing to tell someone, "Hey, bro, you're being surveilled everywhere you go. Like, trust me, dude. Like, trust me, bro. Right? Yeah. You're being surveilled." They'll be like, "Yeah, what? I've seen a camera here. I've seen a camera there." It's another thing entirely to be like, "Hey, see this map? Yeah, there's nowhere on this map you can go without them tagging your plate, dude. See See how are you going to get to work without being surveilled? You tell me. Let's play a game. Get to work without being surveilled. Oh, what? You can't win? It's a very different discussion than, oh, there's a camera here, because if people can't see it, they don't believe it, because America is so damn good at just turtling the fuck up and working your slave schedule of 9 to 5, 5 days a week, sleep through the weekend, do it again. And in that sense, I think that the map itself, the visibility, is very valuable. So I really think that is really important. And, everything Sharon's saying about a 501c, FOIA, all these things, like there is, if you live in a town, and I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I'm sure that, some sort of Google form can be created where you put in your town, you put in all the information so that, they don't have to do the work, but some organization like that can file for your town, like Senator America. Like as I'm thinking here, I'm sitting, I know too, I like both everywhere around me, these assholes.
I'm pretty sure we could
crazy.
make a simple website in support
Right.
of a group like that.
Well, the EFF,
right.
the Electronic Frontier Foundation, what they're doing, I'm looking at their website, Nick, that now that you've said, they're a great organization. I'm reading their about page right now. They actually are publishing these data. They have over 1,500 volunteers, getting FOIA requests and publishing them. So it's not like they're still updating it. It says it was last updated on December 4th, 2025. So it was updated a couple days ago, which means that they're actively updating. They're actively having people publish FOIA requests. If we can take all their information that they have on the website and then bring it to the courts, bring it to the lawmakers, that's also going to do a lot of damage. So I feel like we should get them on, let's.
Oh, absolutely. Could you reach out to them there and we'll bring them on? Because I'm reading their methodology page too. Like they're doing this. They're talking about its open source intelligence, or OSINT. They are talking about this in terms of intelligence gathering in a professional way. And this is a pro privacy site that we found. Like, this is really cool. I'm really glad I saw this. It's a crowdsourcing. It's a community-based effort, and it is a public effort through individuals, through citizens coming together and putting their time in to ensure that this type of information is out there. Like, I'm looking at parts of my county, and like it's talking about, it's got what type of technology they have. So automated license plate readers from Flock Safety, body cam cameras from Wolfcom, a drone from DJI, different departments with more Flock Safety. And it gives you the breakdown and public links for some of the different police departments. And so I think I'm going to make sure that in the show notes, we're a little over time right now, but this is a really important discussion, I think. And I'm glad we found this resource and that we're talking about this idea of pushing back in a coordinated FOIA request and legal accountability without anybody else needing to be involved. Like, this can be us. This can be all of us as citizens. I'm done asking the Midas Touch and groups like that to do the work that they said they would do, because apparently they're just a mouthpiece and they don't really amplify blue voices in any way. They're a megaphone for whatever. I heard them called as the Fox News of the left. They're like the Fox News of the left, is what I heard. Which that's bad. That's not good. We don't want that. We want truth. We want real information. And I'm going to drop the site in the chat for anybody, atlasofsurveillance.org. It'll also be listed in the show notes, things like that. And we're going to bring Melissa back on for a vet talk, or not a vet talk, Palin talk around the camera placements and the maps and what's going on in Norfolk. Maybe we can start a movement of citizens getting this out, and we can help publish all of those maps, make a central database of all of those maps for anyone to quickly and easily, not just this, and use and maybe promote and work alongside the Atlas of Surveillance team if they turn out to be a team that wants to work with us and fits in our movement and our what we're trying to do. Organizations like that are exactly who we need to promote, who exactly they're doing the work, and we wouldn't need to do it on top of them. We don't have to duplicate their efforts. We just amplify it, and that's how it gets out.
Yeah.
This is freaking awesome. Thank you guys for all being here. And I know we're a little over time, and I want to make sure Melissa specifically has
Yeah,
some
I gotta
time to
hop
run
off. I'm being pulled away here.
back. Okay, Melissa, sell yourself before you leave.
All right. Yeah. All paid subscriptions are now going to a legal fund in case the men in black show up at my front door. That's only partially tongue in cheek. So I'm really anticipating any day now, like honestly. So, but as I'm sure most of you know, I'm working with Blue Ant Media now. Also, if you want to subscribe and follow there, Cliff and David have given me an incredible platform to publish this story and to take it really national and hopefully international so that we can expose what's going on inside our military and help save those enlisted men and women who are being fucked over by the SecDev and given unlawful orders and placed in an impossible situation. So definitely subscribe, and I'll also be coming out with those updates for Flock and the NDAA as that's working its way through all the amendment process too. So I appreciate you guys so much. It's always so fun.
It's amazing having you. Thank you so much, Melissa. And everybody, go subscribe to her. I look forward to I'll be watching you on YouTube on How Sparks Show
Yes.
here coming up in an hour. So everybody go watch Melissa, give a lot of love for her, and let's spread that around so this can get all the attention it needs. Thanks, my
All right.
friend.
Thanks, guys.
And next, he jumped on a little late for us, but I'm glad we got him today, is our firebrand Shane Urich, if the QR code wants to work. Hold on. It's going slow.
Oh no.
There we go. Shane, Firebrand Project, doing incredible research and investigation into folks like Jared Kushner, MBS, or Mohammed bin Salman, as well as talking a lot on technology and the intersections around there. He's a passionate guy, and he's doing a lot of really, really good work. Go support my friend Shane Urich. Sell yourself again too, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, like Nick said, I'm Shane. I'm the founder of the Firebrand Project. And yeah, my passion is basically to, be part of this group, and it's about forging dialogue. It's about burning bright. And, our battle is in the, national narrative. So, I do a lot of things. I have my focus, largely on geopolitics, and really kind of weaving the tapestry. So getting into those niche things, I'm definitely transitioning more into a deep dive, investigative, kind of corporate shenanigans, basically just how these assholes work, because there's what you get from the surface, but then, understanding that these guys work, 12 layers deep. It's really not the first two players. It goes back so far. And, if you haven't read the Kushner files, which is like my personal endeavor, understanding and unmasking Jared Kushner and what he does, go check those out. In regards to the Warner Bros. Discovery deal, yesterday, I just put out a really important piece, really just detailing how deep this deal goes and where, that money is coming from and the real quid pro quo behind all of this, because it does go a lot farther than we might think. So go check those things out. Every day I do a Firebrand report. It's a quick show, hour. We talk about geopolitics. So yeah, come support me and Firebrand Project. It's what I'd love to have you. And thanks for your shout out, guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being with us. I'm glad you were able to jump on late today and hang out for a bit. It's always good to have your voice on these discussions. And hopefully we can help you get some FOIA requests and maybe some lawsuits in around flock safety cameras in your area. and
Oh,
see what we
I'll
can do
definitely be
there.
reaching out to you, Sheridan, as well to chat because I fucking hate my mayor. He's a piece of shit. So
get him.
if I can make his life miserable, and even more, then I will absolutely do that. So yeah, I totally want to make him publish a map of the flock cameras he's putting up that he doesn't want anyone to know about. So I love it.
Awesome. And that brings me to my good friend Sherrod Sweeney over at Centered America, who's doing some amazing work and partnerships with folks like Indivisible, joining us weekly and hanging out with us and working alongside us as an amplifier and a way for us to amplify pro-democracy messages and morally centered, not whatever the hell is going on right now, but morally centered messages. So Sherrod, sell yourself, my friend. Everybody go support Centered America, become a paid or free subscriber. I'm a paid sub with them because I think the work that they do is really important. And so go join them. Thanks to whoever scanned the QR code for it. Sherrod, sell yourself, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Sherrod Sweeney. I would say that I'm an independent journalist, but I'm also the director of Centered America, and we are a 501c4 organization. We're a nonprofit, and we are doing work to defend democracy, resist authoritarianism, give resources to people to fight back. We're doing things like, publishing or getting those FOIA requests. We want to do that work. We also publish on our Substack, publish a news brief. Normally it's either morning and evening or afternoon and evening. We also cover the stories. I also want to say, just selling Shane a little bit. Shane did a great report on Warner Brothers Discovery and the sale that's going on. And that's a big story to follow right now. And I think that what Shane published yesterday was just absolutely incredible. But this is a joint show with Banner and Backbone. It is so great to boost what all of us are doing, what Melissa's doing, what Nick is doing, and get this message out to everyone, because really this community is shaped with everyone here in the chat right now. How many people? 243 people that are in the chat right now and more. It's great to have this community, and I'm glad that we have this show going.
Thanks. I'm glad to have you guys with us. I'm glad that you joined me for this. It's been great getting to meet you, both of you guys, as well as Gavin, who's not here with us right now. But join Centered America. They're incredible. They're doing a lot of really good work. And the more you support them, the more work we can all do to actually do the needed actions that everybody wants. And as a 501c4, they can do needed actions that people support and present and provide legislative ideas. And I think this is the organization that we've been asking for. So go support them.
We're legal now, so we can do all that work.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. As a final note, in regards to what Sherrod and Gavin are doing, I say this all the time. You've probably already, maybe I sound like a broken record. They do the best daily news brief, like hands down.
They cite the shit out of their sources.
Really love their brief. And I think like it lays it all out. You can read it in less than 5 minutes. And you don't have to put up, with Ron Filipkowski's rambling bullshit about things that don't matter. They get right to the point. And I cannot recommend it highly enough in a time where, you're just constantly being bombarded with information and all this stuff. It's important to get what you need quickly, succinctly, and to the point. And they do a great job. They always cite their sources, so you can follow up if you need to check those things out. So guys, if you're not reading their brief for your daily news, quit that other shit. Go to Centered America to get your daily dose. And if you want some geopolitics or some tech, you've got Banner and Backbone. You've got me. The new media is here for you. Centered America is a huge part of that new media. My vision for the world has Centered America in a central position. I see things, so I cannot recommend them highly enough.
And Shane, I'm so glad you said new media rather than like independent media, because that's what I've been calling it. Is we're part of the new media now, and part of that new media is my secondary, or I guess my home publication of Sick of This Shit Publications, where it's more culture based and community based, and it's about bringing visibility to disabilities and uplifting powerful voices and being part and seeing and doing almost a communal group therapy, or a communal therapy with ourselves, either on disabilities or with people like Walter Ryan, where if you missed yesterday's show, the December 9th show of Notes of the Week, you really need to go see it. Walter Ryan talked about an incredibly heartbreaking and really hard to hear story of finding a little girl's body that had been murdered and raped in his hometown, that he had seen grow up and she biked around, and it was same age as his daughters. And he told that story, and he told it with passion and authenticity and just himself, and its new intelligence, its intelligent masculinity, it's a warrior scholar mindset. And I was able to bring that because of you guys. Sick of This Shit Publications is where I do that. And so please come support me there. We just crossed 200 paid subscribers on Sick of This Shit Publications. So we're getting there, folks.
Right.
We're getting there. We're building it strong. And then support Banner and Backbone itself. Support this network. Support the growth of new media spaces, of the new media that doesn't listen to old, unneeded voice or legacy voices. And we don't need permission to put out content, and we don't need permission, and we don't wait for the permission of the Democratic Party or anybody to put out content that is pro-democracy, that is pro-values and pro-rights. And I think we finally nailed down what Rise really is for Banner and Backbone, which is something we've been working on sloganeering for a long time. And it was originally that we were going to restore integrity, service, and values, but that's not enough. And so I ask you, as a final closing note of the window of discussion, to rise with us and reclaim integrity, service, and ethics. Don't just restore them, but reclaim them, revitalize them, reinvent them, but reclaim the integrity and the service and the ethics that we need to make an America that is somewhere everybody wants to be. I want my friends to want to come live here. I want my friends who have had to leave this country, or people I don't even know, I want them to come back. I want them to know that this is a place for all. So rise with us, reclaim integrity, service, and ethics, and let's go fucking do this, y'all. Let's go have a great day. Let's go win back our democracy and reclaim it. And so thanks, guys, for joining me. I'm glad you both were able to make it. Again, support me, Sherrod, Shane Urich, Melissa Corrigan, all of the new media spaces. And let's do this. Let's take back. We've got 11 months left that we need to work our asses off to get to the starting point where we can actually start doing it.
The integrity of our elections, guys. I cannot stress this enough. If we don't ensure the accountability of our electoral process, if we don't ensure that our votes count and matter, we will be Hong Kong. Okay. I'm telling you now, like, we got to be on it, and we're doing the right thing. We need to stay fixed on Tennessee and rise, talk about it, because it's our country. So,
and
let's
on
keep
that
doing
note,
it, guys.
On Friday, I will be speaking to This Will Hold for half an hour, who is T is doing reporting on the election integrity in Tennessee and in nationally from 2024 itself. And I want to go and actually ask the questions around what is T doing? What are they investigating? What are the legal steps that have been taken? What kind of information, research, so that we can amplify truthful information, but also see what's already been done and if there's ways that we can help ensure election integrity, because it's going to get tampered with. So let's rise together. You got a book that you're
Read a
about to
book.
show.
This is a good one.
Ray Bradbury. Yep.
Read
Parent
it.
Hat Forfeiture.
That's a good book. Or read Animal Farm, or read 1984. Just read one of those books and you'll figure out real quick what the hell's going
Oh,
on
shit.
and what we're
Oh
fighting
shit!
against.
They knew this was gonna happen in the 1950s. Oh my god!
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, and they wrote about it and
All
they
right.
gave us stories. Anyway, so let's do this, y'all.
Okay.
Let's rise together and let's go have a great afternoon. Go watch Melissa Corrigan here soon with House Sparks. And we will see everyone next week, possibly next week, because it's the day before, I believe the day before Christmas would be the next scheduled show. But I don't know. I don't have the calendar off the top of my head. No, I could be wrong. 2 weeks. Next week we will be back. It's the 17th next week. We'll be back next week, everyone. Look forward to seeing y'all. Thanks for being with us, and let's go kick some ass this week. Let's go win our democracy back.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Burn bright. Resist. Be good.